Hello artists, I am Mr. McCaffrey, and this class is called Introduction to Studio Art. Alright guys, today we're going to draw a spooky jack-o'-lantern. So we're going to start with a circle. It's a simple shape, and that's how we always start. And we're going to go ahead and toss a shadow from that simple shape. Remember, we are drawing a pumpkin that we're going to carve into a jack-o'-lantern, and pumpkins are not perfectly round, so we don't have to worry about perfect circles, and they also don't cast perfect circles on the ground, so the shadow doesn't have to be perfect either. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and add a little stem at the top of our pumpkin. The stem is usually going to be wider towards the bottom of the pumpkin and then get narrower as it moves out. Time for our eraser. Okay, now starting at the top and working our way towards the bottom with these lines that get more and more closer to vertical as they get towards the edges. We're going to draw these little lines that help us understand the pumpkin. And we want to make sure all of those lines kind of start on the inside of that stem area. Okay, now what I'm doing here is I'm adding my additional details. Those aren't details that you need to add. I think I kind of forgot that I was making a how-to video when I was making this. Next, we're going to draw the eyes, the nose, and the mouth of the pumpkin. Remember that pumpkins are usually carved with a knife by people who don't spend a lot of time drawing, and so we don't have to worry about making these things perfect, because the less perfect it looks like, the more it looks like a carved pumpkin. And I decided I did not like how that shadow was looking, so I've erased it. Now I'm going to add a few details in the background, a couple books, a little flag, a picture. Now we're going through, and we're going to finish up some shadows on this pumpkin. Okay, these lines that show kind of the bumps or the folds in the pumpkin, very important that we draw them, and that we draw them pretty wobbly. Okay, it's important to remember that the pumpkin is pretty thick, and so when we cut the eyes out, there is actually going to be part of the thickness of the pumpkin that's visible. I like to do that by drawing these little diagonal lines that go back, and then we draw that same shape, and this kind of helps us understand that the pumpkin is hollow, but rather thick on the walls of it. One of the nice things about doing a drawing in pen with pencil first is that we can spend some time drawing, and while we're drawing, if we make a mistake, we don't necessarily have to fix it right away. We can spend some time thinking about it, and then when we go back over it with pen, we can fix those mistakes. Okay, so part one is to draw everything in pencil, and of course you have to draw the jack-o'-lantern or just the pumpkin if the jack-o'-lantern is a little too spooky for you. And all of these other details are entirely up to you. Of course, if you would like to draw the details that I've drawn, a knife, a severed finger, a little bookshelf, that's totally okay, but I do want you to kind of change it a little bit. I want you to make it unique. I want you to make it your own. So now what I'm doing, of course, is I'm using my pen, and I'm going back through and I'm redrawing my assignment, and I'm making sure that any of the lines that I drew in pencil that I didn't like, I do not draw them in pen, and any of the lines that I did like in pencil, I draw them the same clean, crisp line. And we just go through and we outline everything that we've drawn, and then we can go ahead and darken in our shadows or our dark areas. And then one of the last things that we want to go through is we want to do a cast shadow. If our really dark areas, our black areas, run up against some other really dark black areas, we just want to leave a little bit of space in between them. And this will actually work out really nice. It makes it look like that shiny knife has a little bit of a highlight on the handle. Okay, now we're going to do one of our value techniques. I chose stippling because I think it's the easiest. And we're just going to pick each and every one of these little rolls in the pumpkin is going to be dark towards one side and then gradually get light towards the other side. So towards the lines, some of them are going to be real dark and some of them are going to be real neat. Now we don't have to do dots. You could do cross hatching or lines like we practiced in the other videos, but you do have to add some kind of a shading. And now I'm just going through adding lots of dots all over my picture, as well as some lines and some details, just so that my whole picture eventually gets filled up with details. Again, the details are entirely up to you. Okay, that's it. Good luck. Remember, I want your picture to be unique to you. So don't copy everything that I did exactly as I did it.
Does my picture have to look like your picture?
No, definitely not. I want your art to be about you and to look like you.
Can my picture look like your picture?
Yes, of course. I'm an art teacher. You can absolutely copy what I've done. Well, no drawing is ever perfect, so we don't have to worry about that. What we do have to worry about is improving upon our past performance. Yes, every single time you complete an assignment in this class, you must photograph it and turn it in on Google Classroom. Every single time. Whoa, you did it!